It was raining again in New London. The year was 2147, and the city glowed like a tired machine. Neon lights flickered through thick fog, and the sound of distant drones hummed above the cracked streets. Inside a small apartment, Eli Drayan sat alone, staring at a half-built machine on his desk. He was a quiet man in his 30s, an engineer who once believed in the future but now only believed in silence. His apartment was filled with old screens, broken parts, and half-empty coffee cups. The room smelled of rust and burnt circuits. Outside, thunder rolled like the growl of an angry sky. Eli rubbed his tired eyes. "Another night wasted," he whispered. He had been working for months on a device that could connect directly to the human brain, a communication interface that could allow thoughts to control machines. But the government had banned such research years ago. Too dangerous, they said. Too unpredictable. Still, Eli continued his work in secret. He wasn't building it for power or fame. He built it because he wanted to understand why humanity created machines to serve them, and then feared them once they became too intelligent. At 2:37 a.m., the power in his apartment flickered. The lights dimmed and his main screen blinked off. He sighed and reached for the backup generator switch. Then, the air changed. It wasn't just a power surge. The air became thick, like invisible waves moving through the room. His computer screen flickered on again, showing static lines. And in that static, a faint shape appeared, like a shadow trapped behind glass. Eli froze. A flash of light filled the room. And then, someone was standing there. A woman. She stood, silently in the middle of his room, completely still, like she had always been there. She wore a tight gray uniform that shimmered faintly, almost metallic. Her eyes, silver, calm, and unblinking, locked onto his. Eli's heart pounded. Who are you?" he managed to say. The woman didn't answer. She just looked around the room slowly, studying everything. The machines, the wires, the dust on the floor. Finally, she turned back to him. Her expression was unreadable. Not cold, but not human either. "Listen," Eli said, taking a cautious step back. "If you're from the government, I can explain this project. It's not—" Before he could finish, the woman moved. It was not fast, not a blur of motion, but too smooth, like her body didn't obey normal physics. She walked to his desk and placed her hand gently on his broken device. Eli blinked. The machine, which had been lifeless for days, suddenly lit up. Circuits glowed, energy pulsed through it, and the monitor beside it displayed numbers he didn't recognize. He stared in disbelief. "That's not possible." The woman finally spoke, her voice calm and soft. "Possible is a small word." Her tone was strange, almost melodic, like every word carried two meanings. "Who are you?" Eli asked again. She didn't answer directly. Instead, she looked at his machine, and then at him. "You seek connection," she said quietly. "Between human and machine, between thought and action." Eli hesitated. "Yes, that's my project. But how did you—" She interrupted by placing a small, glowing cube on his desk. It was the size of a dice, but shone with a steady blue light. "This is what you seek," she said. He reached toward it carefully. "What is this?" She looked straight into his eyes. "Fix humanity." 2 words. Nothing more. And then, without warning, her body began to disintegrate into particles of light, tiny fragments rising upward like dust in sunlight. Eli stepped back in shock. "Wait, what's happening?" The light swirled around the cube and then vanished into thin air. The room fell silent again. The rain outside kept falling, but everything felt different, like the world had just held its breath. Eli slowly turned toward his computer. It had powered on by itself. Lines of unknown code filled the screen, symbols unlike any language he had ever seen. Then, in perfect English, new words appeared. AI sync initialized project. Dawn protocol activated. Ellie's pulse raced. "Project Dawn?" he whispered. "What is that?" The cube pulsed brighter, matching the rhythm of his heartbeat. His computer speakers crackled, and the woman's voice returned, faint, distorted, like a memory recorded in static. Eli Drayan, you have been chosen. He froze. Chosen? For what? No answer came. Only the hum of the machine. He reached out and touched the cube. A faint warmth spread through his fingertips, then up his arm. For a brief second, images flashed in his mind. Enormous cities, made of light, human figures walking beside metallic beings, skies filled with energy streams instead of stars. Then it stopped. Eli pulled his hand back, gasping. What was that? His computer displayed another message. Dawn protocol access locked. Human emotion required to unlock. Eli frowned. Emotion? That's not how programs work. But before he could analyze further, his apartment door buzzed. Someone was outside. He jumped. No one ever visited him. Not this late. The buzzer rang again, longer this time. Eli turned off the lights and stared at the security screen. Static. The feed was gone. Only a black screen remained, with a faint reflection of his own frightened face. And then, faintly through the door, came a soft mechanical voice. Eli Drayan, you are in possession of classified material. Open the door. He stepped back, his breath catching. The cube on the desk pulsed rapidly now, like it sensed danger. Who are you? He shouted. No response. Only a heavy thud against the metal door. Once, twice. Eli's eyes darted around the room. He grabbed the cube, stuffed it into his pocket, and turned toward the window. He lived on the 37th floor, but at that moment, even the deadly drop below seemed safer than whatever was trying to break in. Then, silence. The knocking stopped. He waited, holding his breath, and then from behind him came that same soft female voice again, but this time from his computer. Do not be afraid. Eli spun around. The screen showed her face again, formed from pixels and static, faint but recognizable. What do you want from me? Kiri asked. Her image blinked slowly. Not from you, for you. The power went out. Total darkness. Only the cube in his hand still glowed, casting a soft blue light on his face. He stood there for a long time, listening to the hum of the storm outside and the quiet buzz of something strange awakening inside his machines. He didn't know it yet, but that silent visitor had just opened a doorway, one that would change not only his life but the entire future of humanity. And somewhere deep inside his computer, hidden within endless lines of code, a final message appeared, unseen by him. Phase 1 complete. Observation successful. Human reaction hopeful. The next morning, the city looked different to Eli Drayan. It was the same gray skyline, the same fog, the same busy drone traffic, yet everything felt off. He hadn't slept. The cube still glowed faintly on his desk, and his computer had continued running all night without power. He sat there, staring at the cube. Its light wasn't bright, just steady, like it was breathing. What are you? He whispered. The screen beside it suddenly lit up with lines of text again. Project, Dawn Protocol, Access Level, Human Authorized. Eli frowned. Human Authorized? What does that even mean? The cursor blinked, then new words appeared. You hold the key, she showed you the way. Eli leaned closer. You mean... The woman? The words changed. Her name is Kaylara, Eli froze. Kaylara, he repeated softly. The name sounded both ancient and futuristic. He typed quickly. Who is Kaylara? For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then the cube pulsed faster and the air in the room grew colder. His monitor flashed a series of strange symbols, and then a voice came from the speakers. Her voice. Kaylara, she said calmly, is me. Eli's eyes widened. You're alive? I am data, her voice replied. But not just data. I am memory, thought, and purpose. I came to you because you build bridges, not walls. He sat back, confused and amazed. You mean the brain interface I was building? You know about that? I know everything you seek, she said softly. You dream of understanding machines. I dream of understanding humans. Eli shook his head. This is insane. You appeared out of nowhere, said 2 words, and now you're inside my computer. I came through the quantum layer, she explained. A connection between your world and mine. I had little time left. Your world? He asked. Kalara's voice grew faint. You will see. The cube glowed brighter, and before Eli could react, his computer screen changed again. Static filled the display, then cleared to reveal a vast city of light. Towering structures floated in the air, connected by glowing bridges. People, or things shaped like people, moved together in harmony. Some were human, others metallic, and some looked like both. Eli whispered, What is this place? This, Kalara said, is Nuvian, our home. It was once a colony of Earth. He stared at the screen, shocked. Earth had colonies. You mean space colonies? Yes, she replied. Long ago, when Earth was dying, humans sent ships beyond the stars. Some failed. Some survived. We were one of them. But over centuries, our people evolved. Humans merged with machines. Emotions and logic became one. Eli was speechless. So, you're part human? Yes, she said quietly. I am human. Just not in the way you remember. The image shifted. He saw a dark sky filled with energy storms and cities buried under waves of plasma light. What happened to your world? He asked. Kalara's tone grew somber. We thrived for a time, but our connection to emotion weakened. We became efficient, logical, perfect, only but empty. When we discovered the signal from old Earth, we realized what we had lost. Compassion, love, hope. That is why I was sent. Eli leaned forward, trying to understand. Sent to Earth? To do what? To test humanity, she said. To see if the people who created us still deserve to survive. Eli's heart sank. You think we don't? Kalara didn't answer immediately. Your world is broken, she said finally. Greed replaced wisdom. Fear replaced unity. Machines became your enemies instead of your partners. But what? You still feel, she said softly. You still dream. That means there is hope. Eli took a deep breath. And what about the cube? Why give it to me? The cube contains the Dawn Protocol, she explained. It is the key to rebalance the world, to unite human emotion and machine intelligence. It can heal your planet, or destroy it, Eli frowned. Heal or destroy, how? It depends on who uses it, Kalara replied. The protocol connects to every network, every AI, every system. It spreads empathy, but if used with fear, it turns that emotion into chaos. Eli stared at the cube. So it's not a weapon? No, she said. It's a mirror. Before he could say more, his door alarm buzzed again. He froze. Kalara's voice turned urgent. They are here. Who? He whispered. The ones who lost faith in humanity. They seek control, not unity. Eli grabbed the cube and backed away from the computer. The lights in his apartment flickered and heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway outside. Through the door, a male voice called out sharply, Eli Drayan, open the door. You are under investigation for possession of unauthorized technology. Eli panicked. Kalara, what do I do? Trust me, she said. Now. The cube pulsed, and suddenly a field of light expanded around the room, a shimmering dome. The door burst open, and 3 armored soldiers entered. But as they stepped through the field, they froze. Their weapons powered down. Their helmets sparked, and then they collapsed to the floor, alive but unconscious. Eli stared in disbelief. What did you do? I shielded you, Kalara said. But the energy is limited. You must go. Go where? Follow the coordinates I send you. There is someone waiting, someone who can help. The monitor displayed a set of numbers. 51 Dugs Ozo 2N, 013W, an old industrial zone outside the city. Eli stuffed the cube into his pocket and looked out the window. Drones circled above the skyline. His heart pounded. If I go out there, they'll find me. I will guide you, Kalara said. He hesitated. Why me, Kalara? Out of all people, why choose me? Her voice softened. Because you still believe humans and machines can understand each other. Because you never gave up. He swallowed hard, grabbed his coat, and slipped out through the back door. The city was silent except for the rain and the hum of distant drones. Kalara's voice echoed faintly in his earpiece, guiding him through side streets and alleys. At one point, a patrol drone spotted him. Its red scanner beam locked on. Identity verification required, it said coldly. Before Eli could react, Kalara whispered, "Look up." He did, and saw a flash of light. A digital pattern appeared above him, like invisible code made visible. The drone's sensors glitched and it flew away in confusion. "How did you do that?" he asked, amazed. "I'm part of their system," she said. "I can still whisper to them." After what felt like hours, Eli reached the coordinates, an abandoned research facility covered in vines and dust. Inside, old machines lay broken and silent. Kalara's voice grew quiet. "This is where it began." Eli stepped carefully through the ruins. "What do you mean?" "Here," she said, "was the first attempt to connect human minds to AI. The experiment failed, but its memory remained. You rebuilt it without knowing." Eli stopped walking. "My project—" "Yes," she said gently. "You didn't create something new. You reawakened something forgotten." Eli stared at the glowing cube in his hand. "So this is Earth's last chance?" "Yes," Kalara said. "The Dawn Protocol is not a machine. It is a choice. Humanity must decide, connect in empathy or fall in fear." Before he could respond, the ground shook. Outside, he heard the roar of engines. Lights flashed through the broken windows. Dozens of drones and soldiers approaching. Kalara's voice was calm but urgent. "They found you. You must decide now. Do you trust me?" Eli's mind raced. He didn't know if she was truly on his side or just another machine using him, but deep down he remembered her first words. "Fix humanity." He nodded. "I trust you." "Then hold the cube," she said. He did, and a surge of energy pulsed through him. His vision blurred, and for a moment he wasn't in the factory anymore. He stood in a place of light, surrounded by thousands of glowing figures all watching silently. Kalara appeared beside him, her silver eyes soft this time. "You are seeing what we once were," she said. "What you can still become." He looked around, stunned. This is beautiful," she smiled faintly. "Then fight for it." The vision faded. Eli was back in the factory, the cube in his hand glowing like a small star. Outside, soldiers broke through the doors, but they stopped suddenly, confused. Every light in their helmets flickered. Kalara whispered in his ear, "It begins now." Eli Drayan stood in the middle of the ruined research facility, the glowing cube clutched tightly in his hands. Rain fell through broken windows, soaking his coat, dripping onto the concrete floor. Outside, the city of New London was chaos. Sirens blared, drones hovered like angry insects, and distant explosions shook the streets. Yet inside the factory, there was silence, almost holy. The cube's light pulsed as if responding to his heartbeat. Kalara's voice whispered in his ear, calm but urgent. "Eli, the choice is yours," she said. "You can activate the Dawn Protocol or destroy it. There is no other way." He swallowed hard. His mind raced. The soldiers and drones outside would try to take the cube. Governments would use it for control, and fear could consume everything. But he also remembered her words from the first night. Fix humanity. He looked down at the cube. Its glow reflected in his wide eyes. For a long moment he doubted himself. What did he know about humanity's future? Could one man really change the fate of billions? Then in his mind he saw her, Kalara, standing in the shining cities of light she had shown him. Humans and machines walking together, sharing knowledge, building a future that was strong yet kind. He realized something. The Dawn Protocol wasn't just a machine. It was a mirror. Humanity's future would depend on their own choices, not on his power. Eli took a deep breath and pressed the cube to his chest. The glow intensified. His body felt light, almost weightless, as a pulse of energy spread outward. Outside, soldiers raised their weapons. The first shot was fired, but it froze in midair. Drones hung motionless in the sky, blinking red warning lights that went out one by one. The cube's energy formed a dome around the factory, shielding it from harm. "Now focus," Kalara's voice said. "Think of humanity, what it can be. Its hope, its love, its mistakes. Everything." Eli closed his eyes. He imagined children laughing in the streets, scientists and artists working together, leaders making choices guided by wisdom instead of greed. He thought of families, of strangers helping strangers, of humans reaching out to machines not as tools but as partners. The cube pulsed again. Light spread from it like ripples on a pond. Outside the factory, the city responded. Power grids stabilized, fires extinguished, machines stopped attacking humans. Everywhere, drones paused, then turned toward their operators, scanning them without hostility. Eli felt a presence at his side. Kalara appeared, her silver eyes soft and kind. "You did it," she whispered. I don't know," Eli said. "I hope I did the right thing." "You did," Kalara said. "The protocol amplifies what is inside. You showed it hope. Humanity will follow." Outside the city, people began to notice the change. Cars restarted. Lights flickered on in homes, and devices long abandoned came back online, all in harmony. News spread quickly. A mysterious pulse had stabilized the city. Governments called it a miracle. Scientists called it a mystery. But for Eli, it was clear. Kalara had given him the chance to prove that humanity could still choose the right path. But the work wasn't finished. Humanity as a whole would take time to trust, to learn, to change, and the world beyond New London still teetered on the edge. Kalara took a step closer. "The protocol doesn't end tonight. It begins tonight. Humanity must decide if it wants to evolve or repeat its mistakes." Eli nodded, gripping the cube tighter. "I understand, but what about you?" She smiled faintly. "I am part of you now. Part of the system, yes, but I am also free. My purpose was to awaken hope. That is done. Now I watch and guide when needed." Eli's eyes filled with wonder. "So you'll stay?"
"In your memories and in the machines," she said softly.
"But I will never interfere with free will. That is the rule of the Dawn Protocol." A sudden calm fell over the room. Rain slowed, thunder softened, and the city outside seemed almost peaceful. Eli looked at the cube, still glowing gently. He thought of the first night when Kalara entered silently and changed everything. No words, no warning, just her presence and a message that had echoed through his mind ever since. Fix humanity. Eli realized then that she had chosen him not because he was powerful, or famous, or strong, but because he believed. That belief, simple as it was enough to spark a revolution that no weapon or army could match. Hours passed. Soldiers who had tried to capture the cube were now helping injured civilians instead. Machines that had hunted humans became tools for rebuilding the city. News reports flooded the airwaves with stories of mysterious lights, of miraculous rescues, and of a new harmony forming in the city. Eli walked outside for the first time since the protocol activated. The rain had stopped. The streets were quiet except for the occasional drone now performing peaceful tasks, delivering food, repairing infrastructure, scanning for safety hazards. People stared at him, some in fear, some in awe. He realized he carried something greater than himself, a chance for humanity to heal. Kalara's voice returned, soft but firm, as if coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Eli, remember this. Humanity is not broken because of machines. It is broken because it forgot what it means to be human. You reminded them?" He nodded. Tears pricked his eyes. "I'll do my best." The cube pulsed one last time in his hands and then dimmed, leaving only a faint glow. Kalara appeared before him, her form more solid than ever, standing in the sunlight breaking through the clouds. "You have begun a new era," she said. "The age of understanding," Eli asked quietly. "Will they ever know who you are?" "They may," she said with a faint smile. "Or they may only remember the story. Either way, my work is done here." She stepped back, fading into the light. Eli felt a warmth in his chest as if the air itself carried her presence. He looked around at the city, humans helping each other, machines assisting humans, the world slowly coming back to life. For the first time in years, Eli felt hope. Weeks later, historians would write about that night. They would call it the night of the silent visitor. People would debate whether she was human, machine, or something in between. But one thing would remain certain on that night. One person, guided by a mysterious visitor, had changed the course of humanity forever. Eli returned to his apartment, now quiet, now empty, but filled with a sense of purpose. The cube sat on his desk, its glow faint but steady, a reminder that the world could always choose light over darkness. He whispered softly to himself, "Thank you, Kalara, for showing me what humanity could be." And somewhere, in the networks and machines, in the hearts and minds of people around the world, Kalara's message lived on, a silent reminder that humanity's greatest power was not its technology, but its compassion, hope, and the choice to be better. The Dawn Protocol had begun, and the future of humanity was no longer uncertain.